Alright everyone, and welcome back to our F1 2016 career mode. And in the first episode we start off our career with the Haas team, and we actually scored a point on our debut. And with some of the research points here, you can see that we bought a obtained a downforce thing there with the points we got. You can see we've actually moved ourselves ahead of Force India and McLaren already. Toro Rosso already bringing some upgrades as well, and actually catching right up to Williams. So yeah, it looks like us and Haas have sort of made the sort of early steps, I guess you could say, in development, and we'll try and keep it going throughout the season. On now then to the second round of the season, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Here we are in free practice, and yeah, it's just a track acclimatization test. Our first lap passed it comfortably, and yeah, we couldn't beat the higher targets they set, but it doesn't matter because we still got the points for completing the initial target. Finished the first session then in 15th place with Roman up in 11th, so yeah, not too bad. Looks like we're a bit closer like initially than we were in Australia. Obviously getting a bit used to the car now, so that's good. And yeah, on to FP2 then in the evening. And yeah, the tyre wear test, I just couldn't do this one. I couldn't get the times and manage the tyres, so yeah, unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to be getting some good tyre research like we did in Australia, unfortunately. As yeah, I ran wide in turn 1 and then had a bit of an embarrassing spin in turn 3, and yeah, I was mainly doing like high fuel runs on super soft tyres for the rest of the session, so I was only 18th in that session. Roman down in 14th as well, so yeah, we were a little off the pace in FP2 as a team, but yeah, on to Saturday afternoon now then, FP3, and yeah, we're doing a qualifying run, and yeah, you can see we're actually doing pretty well on this one then. And it seems we were a lot better, like saying at qualifying this time. It was sort of the race stuff we were struggling at, so sort of the opposite of our practice in Australia. And we are 8th place then in FP3, so that's very encouraging going into qualifying. Roman only 16th, but that was on the soft tyres, so yeah, maybe not showing his full potential there. And yeah, we'll have to see how things go in qualifying. As in Q1 we went out on the prime tyres again just to see if we could actually get through on them. And yeah, it's not looking likely. It didn't help that we caught Magnussen near the end of our lap as well, so that sort of hindered us a little bit there, as we were 6 out of 6 there at set times at that point. And yeah, we did have to go out to send at the time because we were right on the brink of the drop zone. And yeah, we go across the line, then we split the two Toro Rossos out up in P9, so that's pretty good there. And yeah, I got through comfortably then. Roman up there in 11th as well, so that's good. Massa nearly fallen victim there then in Q1. There's 3 teams at the back, Renault, Sauber and Manor, that all dropped out of the first session. On to Q2 then, and you can see Rosberg actually setting his fastest time on the soft tyres. We're on the super softs though, and we set an initial time there at 4th place. And yeah, we didn't actually have to go out again. We managed to just about creep through into the top 10 in 10th position. And yeah, we were so close in Australia, but yeah, here in Bahrain we've actually made it through into Q3 for the first time. Roman only 13th, and yeah, here we are now in Q3. Night really has fallen now here in Bahrain on Saturday evening, and yeah, we set a time then of I can't actually see it, but we're in 4th place for now. And yeah, actually only moved down to 7th then in the end, so that's a very good qualifying from us there. We're sort of the best of the rest behind the 3 main teams of Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull, so yeah, this is a really encouraging qualifying. That's gone one better than what Roman achieved in Australia, and yeah, that's really helped us in the sort of rivalry against Roman here, as yeah, we get a load of scores over him there, and yeah, that's really going to help us then going forward, and certainly showing our potentials to the other big teams. Obviously Ferrari that we sort of want to stand out to, but I mean, if another team comes knocking, then who knows. As yeah, we're up to 10 already then on our driver score. As we go on to Sunday now then, we're getting ready for the start, and yes, in the evening in Bahrain, and yeah, we're going to darkness pretty soon, as yeah, it's looking quite overcast, yeah, as it says there on the screen, but yeah, obviously not expecting any rain realistically. As we look at the grid now then, and we see us pretty much the 2015 top 4 then, Hamilton from Rosberg, and then Vettel and Raikkonen on road 2 in their Ferraris. It's now looking like Red Bull are the 3rd fastest team there with Ricciardo and Verstappen there. There's us up there in 7th place, head of Valtteri Bottas. Then we've got Sainz and Massa rounding out the top 10. There's the 2 Force Indians on row 6 with the 2 Renaults on row 7. Kvyat only 15th there alongside Marcus Ericsson, and two McLarens with penalties once again. Then Wehrlein there in 20th ahead of his teammate Haryanto, and for some reason Romain Grosjean is all the way at the back of the grid. I didn't see him get any penalties, so I think maybe the stewards just have it out for the Haas cars, because for the second race in a row one of us has been put back on the grid for seemingly no reason. But yeah, we are on the grid now then, up in 7th place, so yeah, we've got a really good chance here of getting a decent result and getting some more points here, as it's looking like our optimal strategy is actually well, 2 stops and using all 3 tyre compounds. And I do actually find that a bit odd looking back at it now, that they wanted to use both softs and mediums, because it looks like we could have done 2 soft stints, but I don't know, maybe we didn't actually have 2 soft sets of tyres, who knows. But anyway, we're getting ready now in for the warm-up lap, and away we go then, and getting quite a bit of wheel spin there, but it was a much better launch than I think what we had on the Australia warm-up lap, so that's encouraging there. And yeah, let's try and get some heat in the tyres now then, because yeah, this start will be crucial here. Who knows, maybe if we can mix it up here with some of those up in front of us, because I think most, if not all of them, are actually on the soft tyres while we're on the super soft, so that could sort of be a bit crucial here. If we can jump some of them and actually maybe outpace them, or maybe sort of hold them up a little bit, that could all be crucial here. Like, for seeing how the rest of the race plays out, we could be like messing with their strategy for all we know. And yeah, they could be doing more stops, they could be doing less stops, who knows. With these new tyre regulations for 2016, it is all up in the air. And we saw how crazy the first race of the season was, and yeah, this one could be even more chaotic, as the grid is now fully lined up and the lights are coming on. And away we go then in Bahrain, and yeah, we get a pretty decent start here actually. It looked like it was Kimi Raikkonen was a little bit off the grid there. We're actually looking at Max Verstappen here, round the outside into turn 1, and round the outside then, and we're still side by side with him. We've got the inside line over for turn 2, and through we go then past Max Verstappen, as we see Vettel split the Team Mercedes up ahead, and now Ricciardo is looking at Raikkonen. I think they're actually both looking at Rosberg here into turn 4. And Rosberg's going a bit wide here. We're going 4 abreast, and we've actually collided there a bit with Ricciardo and damaged our front wing. For a split second there, we were looking at 3rd place. We're actually up to 5th, but we have damaged our front wing now, unfortunately. I actually forgot to put the damage on simulation in Australia. I put it on here for Bahrain, and it's sort of come back to bite us straight away here, I guess, then, as they're suggesting a new strategy to us. But I think we've just got to try and stick with what we've got here. We're changing the brake bias further to the rear to try and help our front end here a little bit. But yeah, we are struggling quite a lot, as Raikkonen was having a look at us there into the final corner. And I think we've just got to try and manage it if we can, because yeah, we can't really afford to make an extra pit stop, especially as we've got a front wing change to make. As Raikkonen is lining us up there, hinted turn 1, Carlos Sainz is right there as well for a 9th on the grid. And yeah, we're going to try and get the inside line for turn 2 again, like we did with Verstappen. But we just don't have the front end underneath us now to actually have the confidence to do that. Raikkonen going defensive once again. Sainz was thinking about going to the inside as well. He's cut back to the outside. We've tried to outbrake Raikkonen, who's very slow on the apex. I think Sainz is actually going to cut through the middle of well, both of us there. He's up into 5th place, but he's on a bit of an acute angle into turn 5. We're going to try and get back at the inside for turn 6. I think we've got it. Into turn 7, he's actually touched the back of us there, and we've gone off the track slightly, and Sainz is going to go through. I think Raikkonen's probably going to get us as well. In fact, so is Verstappen actually, and the 2 Williams are now looking at us as well then, into turns 9 and 10. Bottas goes a bit wide, we've still got the inside line though, and we do maintain the position then over Bottas, but we are down to 8 places. We're seeing replays of the start now then, and yeah, it was pretty even start actually for most people there. It was surprisingly neat and tidy actually through turn 1. As you see there, we went round the outside of Verstappen. This is where it all got messy there in turn 4. Raikkonen and Ricciardo on the inside, Rosberg going out wide. We tried to go through the middle, but we just touched Ricciardo slightly, and we were the only one who actually got damage from that. I mean, what luck. But yeah, Ricciardo here then just sort of turns in on Raikkonen there a bit, which is a bit odd. We sort of turned in on Ricciardo though. I was kind of expecting Rosberg to cut across the lead, so I was sort of turning more towards Ricciardo, but I sort of misjudged it. Then we see on turn 2, on lap 2, sorry, yeah, Sainz going through, and then into the hairpin. I don't think we really turned in on him there. I think he was sort of I think we were entitled to be where we were. He just sort of pushed that wide a little bit. We see the on board then. He was thinking about going to the inside in turn 4, realised there were 2 cars there already, and then he just manages to cut through the middle of both us and Raikkonen there, as one of us goes too slow on the inside, and the other goes too wide, and we actually fight back though, and then we get the place back, and then into turn 7 or 8, I can't remember. I feel like we have the place there, and he's just sort of rounded us out a little bit. As on to lap 3 now then, we're still in 8th place and we're losing time there with this damaged front wing. We've just got to try and stick it out there. I mean, the super soft tyre stint isn't going to be long, so we will be in the pits pretty quickly here. I mean, if we were on mediums or soft, maybe I'd have to consider pitting, but because we'll be in the pits so soon, it's not really worth it. But Bottas is 3 now, and in fact so is Massa, so both Williams then passing us at the beginning of lap 4, and this is really not going well at this point then. We're barely hanging on to a point now, and we're having another little look there at Massa, but we're just not close enough, and we don't have the front end, as I said, underneath us now to be really trying to fight back here. But yeah, Bottas actually pits in. He was on the super softs, so he's looking like definitely a 3-stop here as Hulkenberg's looking at us. In fact, I think Perez is there as well. They're going 3 wide, and I tried to give as much space as possible, but Hulkenberg's had a Haas spin. I think there's been a little bit of an incident behind, and we see here Hulkenberg was looking at the inside, but Perez was there as well. And you see we tried to leave as much space as we could there. There's a little bit of an incident behind. I think that's Palmer firing into Kvyat in the background. And you can see on board here with Perez, and he got the run. And to be honest there, it looks like Hulkenberg kind of turned in on Perez there, even though we were given both of them enough space. So Hulkenberg, I think, sort of only has himself to blame for that one there, although it was a very difficult situation. 3 into 1 certainly doesn't go. And Palmer, I think, too busy watching the Sauber on his outside, didn't really notice that Kvyat had stopped right in front of him there, and just powered into the back of him. And then a bit further behind, Button and also Alonso just piled into the back of Morialta as well, just to cap that whole thing off. So yeah, a bit of a mess. And in turn 1 on lap 5, skipping now to later on in the lap, and we run a bit wide in turn 10, and Perez on the move then on soft tyres. Everyone else who's on super soft tyres really going off at this point, so this is where it sort of is coming back to Sergio Perez here in the Force India, and through he goes into 9th place. We're right onto the back of him there, and we managed to stick with him. As we said at the start of the episode, we've been sort of making a bit of progress then with the downforce. Force India haven't really upgraded their car at all yet this season, so yeah, we are coming back at him here then. There's a couple of cars in the pits as we go up the inside of Perez. I believe Raikkonen and Hamilton are both just pitted, so we're up into 7th place now then with that overtake on the Mexican. And yeah, he's probably going to have a look at us up towards turn 4. He's got a good run on this then. Obviously he's got a nice Mercedes power unit in the back of his car, so that's going to be helping him quite a bit here, but we managed to maintain the place then, and finally we come into the pits then at the end of lap 6 to make our stop. And yeah, we'll be going on to the soft tyres then for this next stint, or the middle stint in this race. And yeah, we've also got Carlos Sainz up there pitting as well, so yeah, looks like we'll be on similar strategies then today. But unfortunately this is going to be a long stop for us then, as they've got to change that front wing, because we just couldn't carry on driving with it like that. Even though we were sort of managing to hang on a little bit, it just wasn't really sustainable for the whole race. And yeah, we just had to get a fresh one on, even if that did cost us quite a bit of time in the pits. We rejoined down in 21st position, unfortunately. Still some people to pit, but yeah, that has really hurt us a lot in this race as we skip to later on in the lap then. And yeah, we can see Roman is in the pits now then. So yeah, I mean, he's been working his way back through from the back of the field. I mean, the Haas car is pretty good compared to a lot of those cars down at the back there. So yeah, he has been able to make his way through it quite a lot. So yeah, we'll have to see where he is now compared to us, because obviously we've lost quite a lot of time there with that front wing change. So could actually be close with us then, which is a bit disappointing for us then, considering we started 15 places higher than him. And out of the pits, it looks like he is just about ahead of us then. We've got to just try and mug him though while he's on cold tyres. We're around the outside in turn 1, we're up the inside into turn 2, and side by side we go through. We go into 19th place, so yeah, it's not going too great for the team at this point then, but there's still a few cars to pit up in front of us, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to get better from here, surely. I mean, it can only get better from this point, as we've got Marcus Ericsson in front of us in the Sauber really having a tough start to the season. And yeah, we're going to try and, well, we're just going to dive the inside then into well, I don't know what corner number that is, and through we go then into 18th place. and we've got Palmer, I believe, in the pits, as we actually set the fastest lap of the race then at the end of that lap. So yeah, that's pretty impressive from us there, showing how quickly they managed to develop this Haas car. And then later on in the lap, we actually got Daniel Ricciardo stopped at the side of the road, so we're up to 15th place then. It seems that the Renault engine still has some reliability issues, even if they brand it as Tag Heuer now then. As up in front of us then, we've got Sergio Perez rejoining from the pits on the super soft tyres. So he's doing a little bit of a different strategy to us then, starting on the softs and going on to super softs. But yeah, it could actually pan out the same way as us then if his final stop is around about the same time as ours. So yeah, that'll be interesting then, if we can make that advantage work then when we've got better tyres at the end of this stint. As Perez is actually lining up Alonso now, who's on the mediums. Perez is locked up there and he's actually pushed Alonso out wide. They both lost time and we've just sneaked through. And through we go then into 13th place. We've got Button in the pits now then in the other McLaren, so we're going to gain another place here and go up into 12th place. But yeah, Perez running himself and Alonso off the road there. See a replay then, and he locks up into the final corner, just runs Alonso out of road, and we just, luckily we were fully aware of the situation in front of us and we managed to avoid it and not just run into the back of them as they were going slowly there. And yeah, Alonso just forced that wide there. And then we're going to see a Haas appear there, and through we go into 12th place it was. And Harrianto there is just pitting from what must be his first stop, and he was on the soft tyres, so that was a pretty impressive first stint from him there. As we skip on to the on to lap 15 now then, there's some more cars in the pits. I think there's maybe 3 stoppers coming in at this point, I'd have thought. As we've actually got Kvyat here passing Hulkenberg, so yeah, we said Toro Rosso making some gains so far in the early point of this season and getting themselves ahead of Force India. You can really see it at this point then. Someone else has just paired actually. In fact, well, 2 cars have, because we're up in 8th place then. One of them was Kimi Raikkonen, the other one possibly was Hamilton, because I think he was having some sort of power unit issues during this race. And we're actually running a bit wide there. We've done 11 laps now on these tyres, and Perez is lining us up then. He's done 6 laps on these tyres, so a lot less than us, but he is on the softer tyres, so you'd have thought his would be going off quite a bit as well by now. But yeah, he certainly has a lot more grip than us at this point. And yeah, he's really starting to put the pressure on though, right as we're catching Hulkenberg as well. So yeah, this could be quite interesting then to see how all our positions pan out near the end of the race then, because it does seem that after that front wing change we're in a battle now then with the Force Indias rather than sort of like the Williams and the Toro Rossos today. So yeah, it's probably going to be scrapping over the final few points, maybe like the last point or so, I'd have thought, as we've got Perez coming through then, just had so much better traction than us, and Raikkonen on fresh tyres then is going to get on the action as well. And we run wide in turn 11, we're on the curb, so we've got to be careful here, getting on the power, and yeah, that just allows Raikkonen to get through there and into 9th place. And we pit at the end of the lap then, so does Perez, so we may well be doing the same strategy here to the end of the race. It seems quite likely that that will be happening here. And yeah, into the pits comes Perez then, and obviously we're right at the end of the pit lane. And yes, a battle between the pit crews then, although Perez did have the advantage going into the pit lane, so expect he'll be out in front of us, and there he goes. But yeah, we're both onto the medium compound tyres then for the rest of this race, so it looks like it is a straight fight between us then for position, but what position exactly we'll have to try and find out pretty soon, as we go straight on the attack of him then, as we come out the pits, try and get our tyres a bit to temperature before he does. And let's see if it works. And yeah, we're actually going to line him up here and round the outside into the hairpin. Didn't actually intend to, but the gap appeared there. We try and run it round the outside. It looks like we're actually managed to do it there. And Perez is still staying there on our outside as we head towards turns 9 and 10. And he's round the outside. And yeah, it looked like he went a bit off the track there, and it may actually get him a very good run here back towards us down the first DRS straight. And yeah, he's going to stay on the racing line. He's got the line into turn 11. He actually moves across there to try and defend from us. Stopper's trying to slide it back up the inside, and he's managed to retake the place then. We're still there right behind him. We're going to try and run the outside in turn 12. Looks like we've done it. He's going to stay there on the inside for 13. We're running the outside, and through we go into 15th place. And great wheel-to-wheel battle there with Sergio Perez. And yeah, we've come out on top for now, but I'm sure he'll be fighting back. But yeah, we'll have to, well, we're actually going to look here. Romain Grosjean is in the pits then for the soft tyres again. He's going to Sienna then probably from there. He's got a lot less to do, so he'll probably just be able to manage that then. as yeah, we actually managed to he rejoined the points and we stayed ahead of him this time. But he is on slightly better tyres in this sense, so we'll have to see how that one plays out. We see the replays then up that great battle there with Perez, and yeah, that was a nice move for us running outside. He wouldn't give up though, and yeah, we see here on the inside in turn 13 we managed to sweep back round. So yeah, we're on the attack now. Then Rio Haryanto, we made up a few places when Grosjean pitted, and yeah, we clear Haryanto then, and we just have to see now who pits and what position we're actually going to be fighting for at the end of this race then. Jenson Button's in the pits then for what should be his final stop now. We're comfortably ahead of him, we're into 11th place, and with only 6 laps to go, Valtteri Bottas actually pits now then for super soft tyres, so yeah, he'll probably be chasing us down then at the end, but it looks like we are in the final points position here. But we've got our teammate actually, Roman, right on the back of us here, battling for this final point. Sergio Perez is still right there as well. So this could be a very interesting fight here for the final place between us, Grosjean, Perez, and possibly Bottas here. Up to turn 4, and Roman's actually hit us then. We're into the wall, we've lost our front right, and we're out of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Our own teammate has hit us off. I don't believe it, and yeah, what was he doing there? Let's look at the on-board shot from him. He had a good run out of the first couple of corners there. In the slipstream, he thinks about going to the inside, then just moves back across and hits straight into us, and we go veering off into the barriers. And yeah, I cannot believe it then. The team's second race, and already one of their drivers is taking out the other. And that is our race over then, when we were hanging on to a points position for the second race in a row. And yeah, there's going to be some strong words said about that in the Haas garage tonight then, because yeah, that has cost us a point. And yeah, Rosberg went on to win the race then from the 2 Ferraris in second and third. So yeah, Mercedes fighting back then after a not so great opening round for them, but Ferrari obviously, as you can see, are going to be putting up a very strong fight here to stop them taking a third consecutive drivers and constructors title then. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting title fight, it looks like, at the front, but for us, the enemy is within, it looks like, because yeah, we have just been completely wiped out there by our teammate.
Who was your driver of the day?
It's got to be Roman Grosjean.
Fuck you, Ant. Anyway, there's the final results. Nico Rosberg takes the win from Sebastian Vettel, and Kimi Raikkonen is in third place then to make it a double Ferrari podium. Max Verstappen actually finished ahead of Hamilton, who was struggling a bit in that race with power issues, I think. Felipe Massa finished 6th then for Williams' first points of the season, followed by the 2 Toro Rossos. Hulkenberg was 9th, with Roman Grosjean undeservedly taking 10th, and Valtteri Bottas once again finishing out the points then in 11th place. Sergio Perez only 12th in the end. There's Jenson Button in 13th, no points then today for McLaren, with Alonso there in 15th. Marcus Ericsson actually splitting them, doing a good job there in the Sauber. Magnussen was down 16th. Haryanto did a good job actually to finish 17th, beating his teammate quite comfortably there. I'm actually not sure what happened to Verlaine because he was way off in the end. And yep, us and Ricciardo, the only 2 DNFs today then. Ricciardo with a power unit problem, us getting wiped out by our teammate. And yeah, we'll see then what that has done to the driver's standings then after 2 rounds. And Sebastian Vettel then still holds on to his championship lead. Rosberg 10 behind him, so Vettel's actually extended his gap a little bit today then. Hamilton slips to 3rd, Raikkonen moves himself up ahead of both Red Bulls then today. Kvyat there staying in 7th place, and Massa moving himself ahead of Alonso, and Carlos Sainz gets himself ahead of Nico Hulkenberg as well then for 10th place. Roman Grosjean overtakes us in the driver's standings after wiping us out. I'm just going to keep on mentioning that as many times because I'm so annoyed about it. Perez and Bottas yet to score points then, so that's a bit of a surprise from them too. And yet no points then for Renault, Sauber or Manor yet then in the constructors. Ferrari still hanging on to that lead then. Mercedes closing it down to 7 points then today, overtaking Red Bull in the process. Williams get some points on the board and overtake us, Force India and McLaren. And yeah, Renault are somehow bottom of the constructors, even though the 2 Manors are at the bottom of the driver's standings. So not sure how that one works out, but yep. Roman gets a load of points over us today then in the rivalry update. And yeah, totally undeserved of course. And yeah, we now lose a couple of things as well in the in our driver position thingy, but at least we do get 1 back for being ahead of where we should be, well, our target in the driver's standings, so that's like the one good thing that's come out of that. Yeah, we're looking at our career score now then. And yeah, that is it then for this race. A rather disappointing one in the end. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video overall, then feel free to leave a like as well. Also, let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comments below. And yeah, you can check the description as well for links to my Twitter and Twitch. Other than that, I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.